Division number 34.
Our planes!
You're right. They're yours.
Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. I know that today's title is a bit controversial, I'm not going to deny it. Now if you open Google and you just search for a HOI4 countries tier list, you will find out that Italy, unlike Germany, does not have the best reputation. It's ranging from suboptimal to plain terrible. In fact, the real Italian historical military reputation is not that great. And rightfully so. Italy got to World War II heavily unprepared and ended up being more of a hindrance to Germany rather than being helpful. Before, of course, betraying them when things started going downhill. Now, in World War II, Italy surprisingly failed to defeat even the very modest Kingdom of Greece and failed to hold ground in the African territories, eventually requiring Germany to come to their aid and save the situation. There is a funny anecdote that I remember from my university studies about World War II and that I would like to share with you. If you're not interested, please feel free to skip ahead, it will only be a couple of minutes. So it is Friday, August 25th, 1939, and Hitler orders the attack to Poland on the very next day. Later that day, however, he gets a letter from Mussolini, and Mussolini in this letter admits for the first time that Italy is not ready for this war. Now, to save face, however, Mussolini doesn't really say all of the truth. He says that if Germany can provide a significant amount of raw materials, then maybe Italy will be able to join the war. Of course, Hitler doesn't take it well, but he falls for it. He decides to delay the invasion of Poland for a few more days. Meanwhile, he asks Mussolini what kind of raw materials Italy would require. Saturday, August 26, 1939, the next day, Mussolini gathers the high command of the Italian army to write down a list of all of the raw materials required from Germany. Now, the list was something like this: 6 million tons of coal, the equivalent of the Italian production of 2 years, 2 million tons of steel, the Italian production for 1 year, and then wood, copper, rubber, lead, tungsten, titanium, and the list goes on and on and on. Now the list is given to the Italian ambassador in Berlin, and it is to be delivered directly to Ribbentrop. When the ambassador meets Ribbentrop in Berlin, Ribbentrop stares at the list and asks, well, when would you need all this stuff? Now, the Italian ambassador panics a bit because he was given no instructions on this matter, nobody told him by when. So he stumbles a bit and then he improvises and goes, well, right now. Now, according to some calculations, to transport that amount of materials, it would have required 17,000 trains. Now, at this point, finally, Hitler and Ribbentrop understand that Italy is not going to join this war, not right away at least. Now, historically, Italy only joined the war in June 1940, and we all know how it went. But this is Hearts of Iron 4, and although it may be historically accurate, we're given the chance to change history. So why do I think that Italy is better than Germany in Hearts of Iron 4? I will give you 3 main reasons. The first one, the most obvious, is the Roman Empire. Germany certainly has the upper hand in the early game. They start with a better industry, better generals, better advisors, and with the extremely powerful MEFO bills. They can freely get cores and land in Austria, part of Czechoslovakia and Poland. But that's about it. Now, having cores in Hearts of Iron 4 is incredibly powerful. It means massively increasing your manpower, not having to waste resources fighting the resistance, and getting full benefits from any factory or resource available in that region. It is not possible to core territories outside of your nation except for specific decisions and focuses, which means, with very few exceptions, that there is a set maximum amount of cores you can get depending on your nation. Now, some nations gain access through their focuses to a very large number of cores, and Italy is one of these countries. By restoring the Roman Empire, you can core most of the countries around the Mediterranean Sea, as well as the UK and Iraq. Now, in addition to it being a lot of cores, they're also high value cores. We're talking about France, Spain, Germany, and the UK, rich in manpower, rich in resources. And you will get full benefits out of all of that. Moreover, restoring the Roman Empire is actually easy. I made a very simple guide about it. You can watch it here. A guide that proves how easily you can restore the Roman Empire by early 1940 without even being particularly good at the game. If you are good at the game, or if you're okay with cheesing some of its mechanics, it is possible to do so even much earlier than that. Now, I think it's fair to say that once you succeed in restoring the Roman Empire, no other country can even remotely compete with you. We're talking about having about 3 times the industry of the AI-controlled United States. That's how powerful you get. Now, the second reason is that, in my opinion, Italy has a better strategic position. Being right in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea, Italy has a great strategic position. In the early game, you have more options for expansion, since you can easily reach any of the countries in the Balkans, as well as Turkey. At the same time, you still border France, in case you want to go for an early expansion war against them. Later in the game, if you control the straits in Suez and Gibraltar, you will be able to absolutely rule the Mediterranean. Now, this means that your entire mainland, the core of your industry and manpower, is inaccessible to your enemies. That's how powerful controlling the Mediterranean can be. Now, the third and last reason that I will give you is very subjective, and I will say that Italy is more fun than Germany. Now, as I said, I know this is a very subjective opinion. Italy has a more challenging early game than Germany, for sure. You start at war, and you need to be very active offensively if you're aiming to quickly restore the Roman Empire. Germany, on the other hand, to get the most out of the MEFO bills, benefits from delaying the beginning of the war as long as possible, while developing its industry. Now, I mentioned the MEFO bills a couple of times, so let me briefly explain what they are. As Germany, you start with the bills on, and they give you a series of very significant bonuses to things such as construction speed and consumers' good factories. For that, you need to train an increasing amount of political power. This trade, however, is always worth it, at least in my opinion. You can manually cancel the MEFO bills, though I really see no reason to do so. You will, however, permanently lose them as soon as you start or join a war. That is why, with Germany, you don't want to be involved in wars for as long as possible. This means that you will spend most of your early game at speed 5, basically only picking focuses and researches from time to time. Now, of course, you can also ignore MEFO bills and you can play Germany more aggressively, but then we go back to point 1, the lack of core potential compared to Italy. Now, at this point, I'm obliged to say that as Germany, you can actually recreate the Holy Roman Empire and the European Union. Both, however, have less cores than the Roman Empire and are much harder to get, as they require you to go respectively non-aligned and democratic, meaning you will have to fight a civil war to get rid of Mr. Adolf. Finally, Italy has a much better starting navy and naval potential than Germany, meaning that if you are into navies, which I am most definitely not, you will have more fun with Italy rather than Germany. Now, I would say that this is all for today's video. As always, thank you for watching, and please do not forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this content. It would really help the channel grow. Also, if you have any questions or if you want to give your opinion about this comparison, please feel free to do so in the comments. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you next time.